In this week's episode, travel with us to amazing Aerosmith Ranch, a legacy ranch located in north central Nebraska. Then we'll head to Kansas with Leo Hayden to witness a farmer's love of the land during the true fall harvest. Next, we're on to see the Hawks Nest Ranch, one of the most strikingly beautiful parcels that Colorado has to offer. And last, but certainly not least, see the premier equestrian training facility in Cody, Wyoming.
Since the founding fathers, the love of the land is something buried deep inside of us.
Good morning.
It is our heritage, our history, our passion. And we are its greatest stewards.
Let's go. Get close.
If you ever take time to get away, spend some time in a setting like this, you'll realize what you've been missing.
From the smallest blades of grass to the widest of nature's wonders, this is who we are. This is Hayden Outdoors Life on the Land. This portion of Life on the Land is brought to you by JetIt, private, fast, smart. Gunwerks, 1,000 yards out of the box. Revic, revolutionary optics. Maverick blinds, a lifetime of hunting. Greeley Hat Works, we start with better bodies. Hooray Grills, you dream it, we can cook it. Western Heritage Consulting and Engineering, envision, design, build. Kryptek, battlefield to backcountry. Polaris, think outside. Ag America, innovators, educators, land lenders. Eukanuba, performance nutrition.
The ranch is very diverse in this part of Nebraska. You've got canyons, you've got ponderosa pine, you've got oak trees, you've got the second bench ground, which that's just the ground between the canyons and the meadows, and then it drops on down into the sub-irrigated meadows, which joins the Niobrara River. And you move on over to the east side of the ranch. It's more sand flats, sandier, gravelier type ground, where the west part of the ranch is heavier clay type soils. I'm Terry Cohn. We're at the Aerosmith Ranch up in Keopaha County, Nebraska. The Aerosmith Ranch sits about 13 miles, primarily north, a little east of Bassett, Nebraska, right across the river.
I've been lucky enough to be on some very cool property in the state of Nebraska, and this is the pinnacle. 4.5 miles of Niobrara River is impossible to find. The ponderosa pines and oak trees, I mean, are specific kind of this area. It's an absolute stud property for growing horns, and they've got proof.
I've been outfitting deer hunts for 30 years now, but it's still primarily a working ranch. There's roughly 1,200 acres that can be hayed. You have no problem with summer water, even cattle. There's enough acreage to self-sustain 300 pairs, raise your own replacements.
And of course, it has world-class white-tailed deer on there. It's not uncommon to take 200-inch deer off of that.
Predominantly whitetails, mule deer, turkeys, an ever-growing elk population. We've got a very, very nice resident elk herd.
So there's a ridge on the west side of the ranch that is pretty popular for the elk herd when they're rutting, and they've literally tore it to pieces.
2 years ago, every elk in the country was jammed into this canyon. It was unbelievable hunting.
Nebraska's not known for elk. This specific area here is, and they've killed some giant elk.
Probably the most untapped potential of the entire property is the bow hunting potential. I have guided a few close friends. The last couple of years, we've done very well. For not being a wilderness area, it's about as close you can get to a wilderness area, but that's why it has the hunting potential, and it does. We have deer that die that have never seen a human.
When I first stepped on this ranch, the one thing I noticed were the abundance of oak trees. I mean, the canyon bottoms are absolutely loaded. You have live water creeks running throughout the ranch. We got to look at some of the prettiest ground in all of Nebraska. You know, and a lot of people do not even know that exists. If you're driving on Interstate 80 or staying south of here, you don't know it exists.
The Niobrara River Valley is the most biologically diverse ecosystem in North America, because you've got parts of the northern boreal forest, you've got the deciduous forest, tall grass, short grass, intermediate prairies, western coniferous. It all comes together. Every major ecosystem in North America can be found in this river valley. You know, that part of it is unbelievable. There's no end to the view sheds, the knobs. The table in the West Pasture in the fall is one of the prettiest spots in the whole river valley. It's not a piece of property for everybody. I'll be the first to say it and admit it. It's an unbelievable opportunity for the right person.
The Climber, a new ultralight design by Gunwerks. The Climber is the pinnacle of lightweight, long-range design. Design yours at gunwerks.com.
Introducing the PMR 428 by Revic. We've integrated a ballistic solver, weather station, and heads-up display for the fastest full ballistic solution available. Just dial the elevation turret to your range, apply wind correction, and score first shot hits beyond a mile. Revic Optics. Revolution in sight. For consumer direct pricing, visit revicoptics.com.
Born out of necessity, the Hooray Grill was created for the individual who appreciates quality craftsmanship, fellowship, and a true appreciation for the outdoors. Not just another disposable product. The Hooray Grill is reminiscent of a generation when quality stood the test of time and camaraderie was truly valued. Designed to gather, time well spent deserves a Hooray Grill. JetIt is a proud sponsor of Hayden Outdoors Life on the Land. Utilizing hybrid ownership that combines the newest aircraft with a rapidly developing marketplace, we provide our owners with an affordable, equity-based travel solution. JetIt. Private, fast, smart. Innovative jet ownership for a new generation. This segment of Life on the Land is brought to you by Gunwerks, 1,000 yards out of the box. Revic, revolutionary optics. Kryptek, battlefield to backcountry.
Hi folks, this is my office. I'm John Leo Hayden in Goodland, Kansas. One of the owner, brokers, originator of Hayden Outdoors. Had this office in this building since 1981. Moved back here from Hays, Kansas at that time. I was born and raised here in Goodland, Kansas, so I've been in real estate since that time. Many years as a broker by myself, and then the boys came back after college. I don't think I ever missed a sporting event that Dax and Seth were involved in from the 7th grade on. And they both played through high school. Played golf, played basketball, played football. I've been threatening to get another flat top, but I don't think I will. I just took the time and went to see it. Probably cost me some money, but it was well worth it. Seth and I and Dax all were starting quarterbacks on that field. Pleasure to come back here. Everybody knows my car, and they wave you like this, off the steering wheel. It happens almost everybody. When the kids are getting back from college and seeing things fell into place, they've helped me, tons, and we've been fortunate turning it into Hayden Outdoors. Lots of different ideas come from the kids, and the combination of the three of us has worked. Well, it has its ups and downs. When I grew up as a kid here, the best farmers in the county couldn't raise 30 bushel wheat year in, year out. And they were good farmers, but they didn't have the equipment and they couldn't get over the land. Well, a lot of the same families are still here. They're still good farmers, but they're using computers. They can tell you why 1 acre is short and what it needs to fix it to make it better so that it'll yield more next year. And it's just an amazing science.
It is measuring the test weight, the moisture, and ultimately how productive this measurement or this load of corn is and do ultimately to the end user.
Well, Nathan, Dax taught him how to play golf. Seth coached him in golf. My wife loved him as a student, so he came highly recommended when he came and said, I'd like to try to work for you.
14.4% moisture, which is just about perfect. In a perfect world, we'd like it a point higher than that.
Extremely bright, knows a little more about my iPhone than I know. We've hired people that we believe in and that we have researched. The brokers seem to want to work for us. I call it riding for the brand. If you're familiar with the cowboy history, when you hired on, you weren't getting much money. If it demanded fighting, you were fighting for your company.
Getting up every day and going to work is sometimes a challenge, but by that same token, the reward at the end of the day is certainly the gratitude we get from feeding the family in America and the true joy that comes from that.
The farmer today has a much greater life. My first year of cutting wheat, I had a 14-foot combine with no umbrella. It was pretty hot out there and pretty windy. We could cut with 6 machines a quarter a day if we had a 15-hour day. These machines now will cut, probably 1 machine will cut that or more. But the kids are so savvy, tech savvy, and the machinery is so complex that they have to get a degree and come back here and get started with it.
What a lot of guys are using now, are these displays, and the biggest thing was the auto steer. It's basically GPS guidance like an airplane would use, And so what this display does here is it just gives us a picture, a map of where we've been, and it paints the screen wherever we've harvested or planted or worked, At the push of a button, if I'm going on a straight row, it'll guide my machine through the field. I don't even have to steer. But yeah, the yields have been really good this year. We're real fortunate to have what we have. So lately we've been cutting until about 8 o'clock or a little bit later, depending on how late the elevator stays open. But
sometimes if we're hauling to the bins, if we're not too tired, we might we can go longer and go to 9 or 10. But I understand my boys, they both got small kids. Like my oldest boy has a 2-week-old boy, so I gotta give them a little family time too, so it's hard to make them stay out there too late. I understand that, so we try to make it a little bit enjoyable and not just a burden. Being out here and watching crops grow and planting them, and with the rain, the good Lord blesses us, we have a good crop, and it's just really special to go out and do something with the grandkids, get in a Ranger and go out there and pick up ears of corn, and hopefully they'll remember that someday, and it was a lot of fun.
There's probably 40 kids in this town, and I call them kids because they're kids to me, but they're new farmers, and they're farming with either their dads or their uncles or their family operation. I mean, it's amazing how many young farmers have come back to Goodland. It's never happened in history. So I think the future I know the future of farming is wonderful. These are the best farmers in the world. And if we can hire some of them to help us, we're damn sure going to hire them.
This segment of Life on the Land has been brought to you by Maverick Blinds, a lifetime of hunting. Hooray Grills, you dream it, we can cook it. Eukanuba, performance nutrition.
The altitude line and series. The rain gear, the soft shell, the lightweight pants, they all performed extremely well. It's shoulder fabric, and you get a really nice blend of durability and also performance. And the colorations are done for mountain hunting, specifically above the tree line. I think that the hardcore mountain hunters are really going to appreciate how well it performs, durability, and the function.
Some things are just made the right way. No gimmicks, no overthinking, just practical, durable, and dependable. Like a blind that can go on the ground or on a platform, with a lightweight frame that's easily assembled. With true 360-degree shooting and the ability to stand up to anything Mother Nature throws at it. Trust a lifetime of hunting. Trust Maverick.
This segment of Life on the Land is brought to you by JetIt, private, fast, smart. Western Heritage Consulting and Engineering. Envision, design, build.
Probably the most unique aspect of this property is a pure inholding, which means it's surrounded on all sides, nearly 2 million acres between the West Elk Wilderness and Gunnison National Forest lands. The terrain surrounding Hawks Nest Ranch varies in every direction. There's a horseback trail leading directly from the headquarters, known as the Through Line Trail. Very expansive, goes for miles, eventually connecting with such points as Aspen, Snowmass, and Crested Butte. As a boy, my family and I would come up to this area to camp and hunt and fish. And I can remember as a young boy fishing along Smith Creek, hunting this area. We'd always continue out the forest road until we came to this gate. The sign on the top of the gate was Hawks Nest Ranch. Just always wondered to myself and talked to my dad about how lucky a person would be to own that ranch from where it sits, and how good the hunting must be, fishing, and again, just the privacy that you're afforded with the end of the road location.
Hi, I'm Ralph, and we're here at the Hawks Nest Ranch in Crawford, Colorado. Oh, we're surrounded by national forest here, mountains all around us. There's some hay fields out here, and we run some horses and kind of an old style ranch. I was born and raised up here on this place as a kid. Obviously feel like I didn't take near advantage of it as I should have when I was a kid. I mean, we've got 350,000 acres or something like that right behind us here, and great place to live. Folks and grandfolks bought this in 1942. That was before I was born, obviously. Well, I don't know how obvious that is, but it's been owned by my folks since 1958 alone, and 1942 in combination with my grandparents, whose last name happened to be Hawk, so that's how it got its name, Hawks Nest.
Probably the most prominent point coming into the ranch is Needle Rock, a natural rock formation.
They tell me it's the core of an old volcano and the mountain is eroded down around it. I don't know that I quite believe all that or not, but it is a huge chunk of rock, and it does stick up there a ways. You look down the valley and look between the mountains there. You got a mountain on each side there, and look down through there, you can see many miles down to the west.
The ranch is situated near the convergence of the south and north forks of Smith Fork Creek. Both of them are trout fisheries that have been stocked in the past, with a good portion of the South Fork flowing through the property. In addition to the creeks, there are extensive senior water rights. Hunting pressure leading up to the ranch is very minimal. One can get out there in hunting parties and just have the vastest area possible to explore.
We've got a lot of elk around. They cross through the place here fairly regularly. And I hunt out of this place every year. I normally hunt with muzzleloader and killed, I don't know how many elk. I lost track years ago.
The primary improvement on the ranch is a 1920s vintage log cabin that has been maintained through the years by the Clark family. And there's a good set of working pens, welded pipe, corrals.
Being surrounded by a forest, you're not going to see anybody move in right next to you. The nearest neighbor's down the road, I don't know, a mile and a half or something like that. You know, it's just one of a kind to me. I've never really seen a place that I've really thought was more beautiful views than from here.
Being able to list the property for the Clarks after peering through the fence and wondering what was back there and what it was like, it's a very easy property to represent for the owners.
We ask for obedience. They give us pride. We expect performance. They inspire awe. We need a partner for the season. They give us a bond for life. Our dogs give everything we ask, and then some. Their nutrition should do the same.
Your work is your ethic. Your handshake is your bond. Your word will outlive you. There's only so much you can leave behind in this life. Make your land your legacy. Landowners nationwide trust Western Heritage with their land enhancement and development. No matter what the project is, Western Heritage will make sure your future is in good hands. Your own. This segment of Life on the Land is brought to you by Polaris. Think outside. Ag America. Innovators, educators, land lenders. Greeley Hat Works. We start with better bodies.
This property is probably the premier equestrian training facility in the Bighorn Basin, maybe in the state. There's not another property like this. It's a few minutes from the town of Cody. It's a few minutes from the airport, and yet you feel like you're out on a big ranch out in the middle of nowhere. We're filming at the Double Dock Ranch today. I've been coming out here for the last 17 years since I moved to Cody. Friends of mine, they're both physicians, hence the name Double Dock, and they are looking to retire and downgrade the amount of work that they have on a daily basis and upkeeping this place. And they want to move this place on to somebody that's going to use it. This is a pretty well-known property around Cody.
The facility was built probably in the very late 70s, early 80s. And it was built on the premise of an equine facility. There was a couple that were very interested in quarter horse racing. They had a horse called Easy Saint. He was a very well-known stay in the quarter horse industry back then, and this facility was built around him. At one time they were breeding 200 mares a year to him here, all through artificial insemination. There's an equine lab to my left here that's equipped with that type of procedure. This is the main barn of the facility. A very well equipped barn with 16 stalls and an indoor riding arena.
It has 10 stalls with individual runs. It has 2 stud pens, 2 double-sized foaling stalls, and 2 teasing stalls. Both the arena and the barn are insulated and heated. There's an outdoor roping arena. There's 2 outdoors barns, all with heated water sources, multiple corrals and pastures, all with heated water sources. There's a caretaker's house, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and then the main house has 7,500 square feet. There are 2 basements in the house, north and south, with about 2,500 square feet. There's 5,000 square feet on the main level. There is a large solarium on the property.
Yeah, the solarium, for me, has been a great place to have a hot tub and enjoy the view of the mountains. Also, we have exercise machines out there that we utilize, and it's been great for entertaining.
And then they have a great room that they built out about 10 years ago on the house that features Brazilian cherry beams.
We've got windows all the way around, and it's just a relaxing place to sit.
The kitchen has all commercial style appliances. It's commercially vented. There's an outdoor cooking area. There's a large swimming pool in the backyard.
There are 2 guest cabins that are relatively new that were originally built because of the desire to create a riding school here. They're now being used as a bed and breakfast. It's easy to keep them full in the summer. Cody's a place where that type of accommodation is well sought.
Cody was founded by Buffalo Bill Cody back in the early 1900s. The town still features the Irma Hotel, which he built and named after one of his daughters. We have a large museum here. We have the Cody Night Rodeo here that starts June 1st and runs every night of the summer through the end of August. Of course, we're 45 miles from the east entrance to Yellowstone National Park. We have just about every species of big game you could possibly want.
I personally have never seen its equal for location and equine facilities. My wife and I are physicians, and we have to be close to town if things would happen. So the location gives you privacy, you have access to as far as you want to go in the outdoors, but at the same time, you're close enough to town. We're 3.5 miles outside the city limits. You can be anywhere in a heartbeat.
Land represents to me the freedom that this country is based upon. The freedom to own property, to develop the property the way you want it. You're able to go out and take a piece of ground like this and paint your own portrait on it. The ranch that we're filming on today, the Double Dock, is exactly that. The owner has taken this property and developed it and developed the different aspects of this horse training facility with the intention of passing on something better than what he acquired. We're proud to market this property for him.